Good evening and welcome to the Adopt a Youth Foundation Personal Development Session. I hope everybody is doing well because we are in store for a treat tonight. We are very happy to be here on a Friday. It's the weekend, and for some of us in Jamaica, the night is young, and for other people who won't call it name, the night is mid. So some of us are in the mid of the night, while others of us, like those in Jamaica, are in the early part of the night. And it is always a pleasure to share on a Friday evening. We recognize that you could opt to do something else on a Friday, but you choose to share with us. And so we value the time spent, and we try to maximize what we do on a Friday evening so we have maximum impact. Well, this evening, we are going to look on ways in which we can be excellent with people. Many young persons are shy when it comes to interacting with others because they are not that assured and confident of how to do what they're doing. Well, a part of the mentorship program that we have at the Adopt a Youth Foundation is to prepare our young people, and those of us who are not so young to deal with the issues that come at us in life. This evening, I am very happy to introduce a speaker that is no stranger to the Adopt a Youth Foundation because she has been with us in the leadership role. She has served on our board as Director of Mentorship. She is a career coach, especially for youth life coaching. She is the founder of Greater Elevation, and she provides career coaching and life coaching for young people between the ages of 13 to 25. And those are the exact persons who the Adopt a Youth Foundation caters to. She has delivered programs and master classes such as raising self-esteem, how to overcome procrastination. I think some of us could really use some of that overcoming strength. She has over 10 years experience working with young people. She's very passionate about helping them reach their goals and achieve their mission. Her personal mission in life is to elevate young people's mindset, increase their self-belief, and help them to identify the skill sets, and also to help them to reach their aspirations. Outside of her business, she works full-time as an enterprise coordinator. She might explain to me what that is, and help secondary schools improve their careers. And she is now, I just found out a few minutes ago, that she is pursuing her master's degree. Her first degree, her bachelor's, is in business and on enterprise, right? And she will tell us some more about what she's pursuing now as she is helping others to achieve their goal. She even has her own mentor to achieve the goals that she has in life. And this is a principle that makes her an excellent coach. When you recognize that you don't have everything together, but you're still able to help, it means that you are grounded. It is my pleasure, and I want you to put some sevens in the chat and welcome my friend who is in the UK now, probably into Saturday morning, Jenny Beckford. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Richie, for that great welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So it's an honor to be back here with you all from the Adopt a Youth Foundation. As Richard said, You know, there's a few of you that know me, and you know me, I've got a passion for the youth. It is midnight here, but it's cool, it's all good. I'm still going to deliver like it's 10 a.m. in the UK time, which it's not. So yeah, so today we're going to be looking at mastering personal people skills. So I'll just tell you a little bit in addition to what Richard has explained. That was a great way to introduce me. So thank you, Richard. I'm very honoured and grateful for the introduction. So as Richard says, I am a life coach. I'm a certified teen coach practitioner. I do specialise in supporting teens, but also the young adults as well. And I also support parents of teens as well. That's something that I've recently been doing and added to the portfolio. The full-time job that I do, enterprise coordinator, what that means is that I look after various schools within London to make sure that the schools have their careers provision in check, that the young people are having opportunities of work experience and really having that employer engagement, because a lot of that has been lacking due to COVID. They're not able to go, we were not able to go into organizations, and everything pivoted to being virtual. So I had to make sure that the schools were still following the guidelines. So I go in and make sure they have the protocol, the right careers provision, and making sure that everything is in order. So that's what I do. Yeah, currently studying a master's in coaching psychology. It's quite intense. However, I like a challenge and I'm really goal orientated, and I just do a lot of these self-development courses to add value. So my thing is to add impact and also add value to the teens and also the parents that I support. So predominantly my organization, it runs virtually, so hence why I'm able to come on today. I would love to be in sunny Jamaica physically, but yeah, it's all good. I'm here virtually and able to still deliver and support you all. So yeah, so that's a bit about me. As Richard says, I do have mentors, I have coaches. I've actually got mentors and coaches in every areas of my life, like health, finances, life coaching, relationship coaching. I think the only coach that I don't have yet is a fitness coach. And that's something on the cards that I'm going to do. But the reason why I do that is because the way that I pour into myself, whoever is attached to me, they have to win. It's as simple as that. It's non-negotiable. So if I'm investing in myself on a high level, you're attached to me, you're definitely going to win, because when I do coach, we get results. I'm outcome. I don't want to hear your problems. We hear it the once, and then we find solutions. Okay. You can have reasons and you can have excuses, but you can't have both. Yeah. So we really got to make sure that when I'm attached to you, you know, we got to play, and it's time to win. All right. So that's a bit about me. Oh yeah, I'm a mum. Sorry, I forgot about that as well. My daughters will probably be like, Mum, you forgot about me. I am a mother of twin daughters who are aged 24. So in terms of supporting young people, you know, I've had my experience of being a parent of a teen, toddlers, gone through the different stages. So I'm able to relate as a parent, and also I was a teen once, believe it or not. Okay, so with further ado, I am going to start my presentation. However, with this presentation, I want all of us to be engaging, whether you're just going to write in the chat, which I probably can't see, so Richard will hopefully keep an eye on the chat for me. But if you're feeling brave, unmute, you know, give us some contributions. We're going to have an opportunity at the end to have some, we'll do some Q&A, and we'll be listen out to what I'll be saying today, because we're going to be looking at asking questions, and I believe there are some prizes to be won as well. So it's going to be fun, Pat. It's very informative, a few techniques, and really, really just want you to all stay engaged and interact. Don't want to feel like I'm talking at you. I know I'm here to empower, but I'm also want you all to interact as fully as you can. All right, so I'm going to share my screen so that we can get started. And fingers crossed we do not have any technological problems. Okay, so let's just make sure. Richard, can you see my screen? All good?
You're good.
Okay, fantastic. Yes. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to be looking at, as I said, today's topic is mastering people skills. Okay, so the definition of people skills. Now, the definition of people skills, and I've looked this up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it is the ability to work with or talk to other people in an effective and friendly way. So that is the definition. Okay, fantastic. Somebody could just mute for me so that we don't have that background noise. Thank you. So in terms of mastering people skills, individuals with strong people skills are able to predict behavior, relate to others, and socialize easily. All right, so we're going to be going through what that actually looks like. So people skills are an essential part of work life and social success. Now, when you have strong people skills, you are better able to pitch yourself, overcome social anxiety, communicate your ideas, and influence others positively. Now, you're probably thinking, maybe, what does pitching yourself mean? Now, pitching yourself means like when people ask, what do? Do you know exactly how to put that in words? Do you know how to pitch yourself well? Now, when you have to pitch yourself or ideas, you need to be able to do so confidently. So, for example, I'll give you an example of what pitching yourself may look like. So, for example, you may decide that you are going to set up your own business. And the business that you may have, you may need some support in terms of having some financial investment. So you would be able to go in front of a panel of people who would be able to listen to your business ideas and would really hear what you have to say. So what this would mean is you'd be expected to talk about your business idea, really in a confident manner, so that the investor can hear exactly what you have to offer and why should they offer you their money? Why should they invest in you, in your business? So you have to be able to practice your pitch and be able to come across quite confidently. And this is something that I've had to do previously when I started up my business. I was nervous at the beginning, but practice makes perfect. Now, pitching is a very, very important people skill. Now, it's not just pitching for investment in your business, but at networking events. You know, when you're going out and meeting people, a lot of the time in terms of COVID, we had a lot of networking events, not offline, but online. Okay. And there's opportunities where I've been into networking meetings and literally the host has said, we're going to put you in a Zoom room. And I was just frozen with shock. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to say. But the more you start doing this and stepping out of your comfort zone is the more you start to become confident. Okay. So you will just be able to just rock up, you know, whether it's online or offline, and just be able to speak confidently and pitch yourself. You know, even during a meeting, you know, you may be asked for your opinion. Believe it or not, that's an opportunity to pitch. In emails when you introduce yourself, and even on like Zoom calls or MS Teams or on phone calls. Now, people sometimes think, you know, it's never really a good idea to brag about yourself, but we're not asking you to brag. You should be able to generate some excitement around your ideas. All right. So really want you to think, when you talk about yourself, can you get people excited? Yeah. So maybe for those who are not so confident in maybe going out there and talking about what they do, think about something that you enjoy. Think about something that makes you feel passionate. Like me, it's doing this. So it's easy for me to come here and talk about what I do. Maybe talking about something else without me perhaps doing my research, maybe I might not be so confident, but it's all about preparing yourself in order to be able to master. So this is why this topic is called mastering people skills. It's really looking at yourself and really being able to start to practice. Okay, so moving on. So researchers define people skills in 3 sets of abilities. Okay, so number 1 is personal effectiveness. Number 2 is interaction ability. And number 3 is the ability to intercede. So I'm going to break down all 3 of these actual points. So the first thing, personal effectiveness. Now, first, someone's personal effectiveness is a people skill. all right? Personal effectiveness is all about you and how you come across to others. So again, are you able to pitch about yourself? Can you communicate clearly? Can you get what you need from others? Now, someone with strong, effective personal effectiveness typically also makes a memorable first impression and has a confident presence with the people they meet. That's the first thing. So think about it, for example, when you may have to go for a job interview, or you may have to go for an interview for a course, or even something like volunteering. You know, you really have to come across that you are effective, and how are you going to communicate that and get that message across? So you have to really think about it. And the way you're going to do this is by practicing. So if you have, for example, an interview coming up or a pitch for a business, you're not going to, we in England have a word, we call it blag it. That means you're just going to make it up as you go along on the spot. No, sometimes there's things like that you can do, but in order to master this personal effectiveness, you have to practice. So that may mean that you're looking in front of the mirror, having your script, and just really making sure that you're sounding effective, you're confident, and even recording yourself, or even practicing with a friend or family member. Yeah, it doesn't matter who, doesn't matter how, but you just need to make sure that you're able to take that time out to start to master that in order to increase and improve on your personal effectiveness. Now, the second point is interaction ability. Now, this is how well you are able to predict and kind of pick up on people's behavior. Okay, in an interaction, can you emphasize with somebody when maybe they've had some bad news? You know, are you a person that is able to pick up when something's not quite right with somebody, or maybe there's something uncomfortable, you know, or are you a person that doesn't think before you speak and, you know, starts to interact in a way that's inappropriate? So these are the kind of things that, again, I would say you need to look at, do a self-evaluation check on yourself. And part of the way that you can actually do this, if you're unsure about how you're showing up in terms of how you interact, you know, have a close friend. When you go out, you know, say to your friend, you know, can you just maybe observe how, you know, I talked with people, or how I handle certain situations, and maybe get feedback from people that you trust to get that feedback, because it's going to be good constructive feedback. Yeah, so just in case you're not sure how you interact with people, or you're not able to interact that well, again, that's something you can practice with a friend or family member. You know, with me, I've had coaches before take us through, a few of us in groups, through stages on how we're showing up, and really kind of get us to look at ourselves and become more self-aware. Now, the last point is intercede. Now, finally, someone that has strong people skills is actually able to intercede easily. Now, this means that they have the ability to lead, influence, and build bridges between people. So what I want you to think here is, are you that person that is maybe a connector, that can connect friends to other people that are going to help them? Or maybe you might be a mediator, which means that you may be able to calm people down who may be upset, or, you know, handle difficult situations. You know, are you someone that can intercede and kind of calm the situation down? Because these are all parts of having really good, strong people skills. Now, one thing we need to actually remember is that people come in all different shapes and sizes, all right? And they come with different personality types as well. So you may want to do a bit more research on how to communicate with the 4 main personality types. I'm not going to go into them too much, but there's somebody called Ben Allen, I'll drop information in the chat, who has an excellent book. It's called Personality Types, and that actually, sorry, it's called Personality Theories. And what he's actually done is conducted research in personality, social psychology. So it's really good to actually get a glimpse of 4 types of personality types. Again, I won't go into that tonight because we're just going to go into a whole sort of different conversation, and I want to keep on track. Okay, so just in addition to that, people are individuals with as many similarities from one person to the next as differences. So to be able to communicate most effectively, it will require you to communicate with them in their individual preference style, using maybe their language, their body gestures and their pace and intonation. So your intonation will be your tone of your voice. Yeah, so you really kind of need to, again, start to become more self-aware on how you are showing up as well. So you want to be thinking, how do you feel that it's best to communicate with someone? The simple answer to that is spend time with them. All right, so don't expect to meet someone off the street and start talking intimately with them within a minute, because, that's just something that may not happen. Understanding a subject takes time. So whether that subject is an academic one or another human being, it takes time. Okay, so that's all part of it. All right. Now, for me, I used to see others connect and make new contacts with ease. And believe it or not, I used to feel a bit sort of stiff and out of sorts and clueless around people. However, I've since found that it's very important in terms of having people skills, not only at work, in my personal life, in my business life, and what I actually had to do is start to get committed to start getting better at it, because I was interacting with so many different people from, from diverse backgrounds. So I needed to actually start to brush up on these people skills. Now, at the moment, I've invested in doing a master's in coaching psychology, and I have years of investing in self-development. I've got, as I've said to you, various coaches and mentors, and I just want to share some of the things that I've picked up along the way. All right. So what I'm going to be taking you through now, I've had to kind of break it down a bit because we could be here all night. Okay. So I'm literally going to take you through sort of 11 tips on how to master your people skills. All right. Okay. So let's get started. So the first one, I think, is fairly obvious. Now, when you're meeting people for the first time, you want to make eye contact and you want to smile. Now, before I get into this, you just want to make contact and give them a natural smile. You don't want to start doing a crazy smile. It just needs to be a natural smile, not even a full grin, just a little smile, just a gentle smile. Just even lift the corners of your mouth, just hi, good morning, whatever. Now, making eye contact as well, it shows that you're friendly and open to conversation as well. So you match the two, you smile, you've got eye contact, suddenly, oh, that lady, she looks friendly, I'm going to approach her. All right, so that's the first thing. And I just want you to think to yourself, for those who may be a bit nervous on starting to approach people and sort of introduce yourself, a trick that does help is just want you to think in your mind that the person you're speaking to is an old friend. All right. Now, when you start to think like that, your body language also will kick in automatically. You'll become more relaxed. You'll be smiling. You'll be making eye contact. So that's a trick as well, just to start to think, I'm just going to pretend it's my friend from next door or whatever, just to start to make yourself feel a bit more confident. Now, the second point would be to make light conversation. Now, making small talk, even if you don't feel like it, and people are probably rolling their eyes, who wants to make small talk? Now, for one, I used to see small talk as pointless, but it does have its purpose. All right, it signals that you're a friendly person, and it's a warm-up for more in-depth conversation in the future. It makes a big difference to say something simple, like, what are you up to today, or that kind of thing. So I want a few of us, give me some examples of what you would class as light conversation. I've just given you one, but I want to hear from you as well. So Richard, you've got your hand up. I can only see that.
Yes. One small talk or light conversation could be about something topical. What do you think about Coffee's new album? I like the fact that she is singing something that is not promoting violence or anything too sexual. That's a small talk. Talk about something that is topical.
Fantastic. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Fantastic. Does anybody else want to participate in that? Give me another. Alicia, you've got your hand up. Yeah, go ahead.
The weather is always good.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that, can you? Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic, thank you. And things like, how was your weekend? You know, they're just the normal light conversation, nothing too heavy. Yeah, so we want to be making sure that we're keeping it light. Oh, we've got somebody else. Yeah, go ahead. Not sure who it is, but I can see a third person.
Jackie, go ahead.
So one of the ways I'm thinking, Jenny, is to start off with giving a compliment. The dress you wear fits you well, you know, your hairstyle, like your eyes. So a compliment sometimes is a good way to have a light conversation.
Love it. Thank you, Jackie. Love it. Yeah, fantastic. Great examples there. Fantastic, everybody. Great. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. So the next one is seeking out social situations and being social assertive. Now, just before I go into this, I'm just going to say I know how uncomfortable social situations can feel. Now, however, to improve your people skills, we want to get exposure to those situations. So putting yourself in social situations, even if you don't feel like it, is an effective way to improve your people skills. So I'll give you an example. For me, you know, when I was working in and out of the office, just joining others in the lunchroom at work, you know, and just speaking to them and asking them how they're doing, saying yes to social invites. Sometimes we may say, oh, I don't want to go, but just making that effort, even when you're, you know, for me, when I used to work in various offices and even with people that I didn't know, when I'd go to get a glass of water, I just make small talk, you know, how are you doing today? I haven't seen you for a long time, you know. But to me, it was an important realization that these moments were actually my training ground for me to be able to become more confident and master my people skills and to be more better socially in the future. Now, when I started to think like that, that took the pressure off me to perform in each given social situation, because I thought to myself, it's only practice anyway. So what I'm saying to you is seek out social situations in order to start to help you to build up. Yeah, it could be just, you might go to the library, you know, and you might see somebody that, I don't know, might have dropped their books, you know, just have that kind of little small social situations to be your training room for when you have to start going to maybe, you know, networking events, social events, whatever that may be. All right. So we need to start to build up, and then that's how we start to master things. You start off small and then gradually you go up the ladder. So in terms of being social assertive, now we need to be thinking about, you know, can we stand up for ourselves in social situations? Do we feel confident interacting with others? So when I'm talking about being social assertive, I'm talking about looking at establishing boundaries. Now, boundaries are rules you put in place to protect yourself. Okay, so for me, I'll give you an example of a boundary that I have. There's a certain cutoff point in terms of my business where I say, right, that's it. I'm not doing any more work for the night. So sometimes that might be 8 p.m., might be 7 p.m. It just depends on what projects I'm working on, but I will have a cutoff point. In fact, a boundary that I've set, which I've been doing for a year now, at a certain time in the evening, my phone switches to do not disturb. I set it to go to do not disturb. So even people calling, I'm not hearing any calls. I'm not hearing any notifications. And I do that just to have my boundaries, because this is my time. So again, something like that, this is me giving that an example, but being in a social situation, it's about standing up for your needs and knowing what you believe in. So if somebody might ask you something that you don't really feel comfortable to do, but because other people are there, you have to get into a position where you're confident enough to say, actually, no, but thanks for offering anyway. It doesn't have to be confrontational. It doesn't have to be a back and forth. You know, you can just simply refuse. Thank you for thinking of me, Jackie, but on this occasion, I'm going to have to say no to that. And the more you start to become more social assertive, the more you're going to feel that within. But it's a skill that you need to kind of build up over a time, because me, a few years ago, I was a people pleaser. I'd say yes to everything and then be annoyed when people asked me to do something. I'd be really annoyed and be getting angry, you know, why did they ask me to do that? I didn't want to do that. Well, I have a voice and I'm able to communicate, and it doesn't have to be confrontational. So it's just applying that in social settings and making sure that we're being more assertive. And this is all part of mastering your people skills as well. So with that said, we're going to move on to number 4, which is sticking to topics to speak about that aren't offensive. So before I get into that, I want to hear some engagement. What do people think when they're meeting somebody for the first time, what kind of topics do you think are appropriate for you to talk about? So let's hear from you all before I start giving all the tips out. Does anybody want to put in the chat or unmute themselves? And I can't see the chat, by the way, so I'm not sure what could be going on. But can anybody think of at least 1 or 2 topics that they think would be appropriate to be having a discussion about, bearing in mind it's somebody that you don't know too well?
She says, not politics. That is
Love
wise, Washi. That is a counsel in the meeting, yes. Yeah. Politics can really be tricky. Anybody else?
I would say religion.
Definitely, Janet. Yeah, that politics, religion. Yeah, we want to stay away from that.
Yeah, in these parts, in Jamaica, it's probably accepted, but here, no, you can't talk religion and you can't talk politics.
No, it's a no here. Yeah, fantastic. Anybody else?
Talk about current affairs.
Depends.
Yeah, well, like currently the Ukraine, currently Russia invading the Ukraine, that can be political too, but that is also current, you know, and it could be a point of discussion depending on which angle you take it from.
That's the thing, we have to be careful, because we may think it's okay and then you say something that triggers somebody. So yeah, that's a bit of a mix there. Mikey, you've raised your hand. Do you want to?
Good night.
Good night, Mikey. Hi.
Our topics such as like I want to say like my mom just said current affairs. So I kind of sparked like, I don't know, like currency based on like the stock market, or like music, like Uncle Richie stated earlier, like stuff like that's cool, right?
Yeah. Fantastic. Great. No, good. I like that. All right. So I've got an acronym that is going to be good for you guys to remember. And the acronym is FORD, F-O-R-D. These are topics that we can speak about as I suggested. So F for family, O for occupation, R for recreation, and D for dreams, right? These topics will help you to get to know somebody a bit better and form a connection. Yeah, you know, family, have you got any brother or sisters? You know, what do you work as? What do you do in your spare time? And what kind of dreams, what kind of goals do you have? These are kind of, I would say, the stay safe topics. And not only that, people start to talk a bit more, you know, when you ask them, do you have children? Yeah, I've got children, you know. things like, as we said, religion, politics, economics, maybe people's, what they earn. Sometimes people are a bit touchy about. Personally, I think these topics can be interesting to talk about in a non-argumentative way with people that you know well in the right settings. However, we want to avoid them in light-hearted situations, and especially with people that we don't know very well, because quite quickly you're talking about something and it can go downhill very fast. I've seen it happen many times. So we just want to, you maybe remember that acronym FORD, and I think that's a good one because it's light, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, especially like the recreation and the dreams, because sometimes when you ask people that, and I've done it before, even on my coaching sessions, oh, what dreams do I have? I don't know, you must have a dream. And then eventually you start seeing people's faces light up and they start to tell you about things that they want to pursue. All right, so the next one, number 5, we want to be showing people that we care about them. All right, so let's just say, for example, you're at work, you know, if you've met a friend, colleague after the weekend, or, you know, maybe your fellow students from college or high school after the weekend, you know, is there something natural to bring up from the last time that you spoke, right? So examples of bringing up past topics could be things like, did you go on that weekend trip that you said you were going to go on, Jackie? How are you feeling now? Is your cold gone? Are you feeling better? Yeah. No, these kind of topics show that you listen and you care. All right. Mikey, yeah, I think you had your hand up, or you changed your mind? Okay.
It was an accident. I'm sorry.
No worries. No problem. So think about it. You know, what was just small talk the last time you spoke now becomes more meaningful, and it shows that you've paid attention and you've remembered. You know, people's faces start to light up. Did you go on that weekend? Oh yeah, it did. Can I tell you about it? Yeah. So you really just want to make sure that you're starting to show people that you care about them. And this is how you start to build that connection. Now, in addition to that is building rapport. Now, building rapport is about sensing what someone like and being able to act in a way that's appropriate to the actual situation. Now, when two people have rapport, sort of a connection, it's easier for them to trust and also like each other, okay? So I've just got a summary of what rapport could look like, but I don't know if anybody wants to give me a few answers to that where they might think how you can kind of build rapport. And it's fine if you haven't, because I'm going to tell you anyway. All right. Okay. All right. So remembering the basics of just having some social interaction, you know, you want to be able to smile, relax, use a good posture, and remember to talk about appropriate topics. Yeah. You don't, when you're talking to people, you want to show them that you're interested in what they have to say as well. So you want to make sure that you're engaging and you're listening. Yeah, you don't want to be doing things like picking up your phone and looking at your phone, because that's just ill-mannered, and that's not going to be the way that you build rapport, because they're going to say, every time I speak to Jenny, she's got her phone in one hand and she's not listening to me. So that's not really good. Now, finding common ground. So it's really showing genuine interest in the person that you're speaking to, right? Because you're going to be able to perhaps discover things that you have in common. You may have attended the same school, you know, you may have grew up in the same city, you know, you may even support the same football team, little things like that, all right? Next thing you want to do to build rapport is create experience. Now, to be able to build the rapport, you need to be able to interact with someone. And this can happen when you perhaps work on a project together, you may attend a class, or even go and grab a cup of tea. This is what they do in England. I'm just saying that, for example, but that's something that you can do to create a few shared experiences. Another thing that you can do is really making sure that you're building empathy, you're being empathetic, okay? So this is demonstrating that you understand someone's emotions when you see something from their perspective, all right, to better understand them. Now, I would always say, try to ask open-ended questions. So open-ended questions are not like closed questions. Open-ended questions are, you know, how did the project go today? yeah, now they're going to respond to you. All right. And it's best to allow them to fill in the details about how they feel when they answer. All right. So it's really just giving them that space to answer the question that you've actually given them. Now, just a note, to keep the conversation balanced, it's a good idea to also share your thoughts with your friend on a topic, because this is going to create a shared connection on a topic, and it's going to avoid you feeling like you're at an interview. Because the worst thing you want to do is speak to somebody and just be like a robot, and then suddenly it feels like we're doing an interview and a questionnaire. Mikey, have you got your hand up this time? No?
Nah, I do. Sorry. Okay, so my question was this, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say personally I struggle with this, because I don't necessarily struggle with it, but I've been in a situation where,
Cool.
you know, sometimes, like you're saying, you meet a person, whatever, and like you're sometimes people don't want other people's like opinion. So if you get into that, like, it's not a confrontation, but if you get in that situation where it's like, all right, the person is more like inclined to really just want you to listen, but you know, sometimes you just feel like, I think this, then in their head they're like, well, I didn't ask you for what you think, I just want you to listen. How do you balance that?
Okay, so what I always say, and this is me putting on my life coaching hat here, is never offer an opinion without asking permission first. So here's the thing, you can do it in two ways. You can either say, do you mind if I give you a suggestion? That way, you're going to say yes or you're going to say no. Simples. But I would not, if somebody is talking about something that's probably passionate to their heart, the last thing you want to do is say, well, if it was me, I would do this, I would do that, because people turn around and say, well, it's not you, is it? So it's best to hear what they have to say. And unless they say to you, what do you think? That's your invitation. If they don't ask what you think and you want to give an opinion, the polite way would be just to say, do you mind me giving you a suggestion? And this is what I do in my coaching. When I'm coaching, this is particularly when I'm coaching, speaking to parents about the progress of their teen. And they're not necessarily coming to me for coaching, they're coming to offload. And I might say, do you mind if I suggest something? And they usually say, yeah. And that's when I give them the opinion. And sometimes I might say, I want to suggest something. Are you open to seeing something from a different view? And they usually say yes. But just be warned that not everybody wants your opinion. That was really good what you highlighted there. So it's just being mindful of that and not giving your opinion when somebody might just want you to listen. Yeah, does that help, Mikey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Fantastic. All right. So this one, number 7, be positive. Yeah, we're probably saying it's quite obvious, but sometimes it's not, especially with what's going on in the world. And there's a lot of sometimes negativity. Now, we really need to be generally having a positive outlook on life when you talk to people. And it can be easy to seek contact, you know, by complaining about something or being negative in general. However, based on some research that I have conducted, it shows that too much negativity can hurt our friendships. So in my experience, negative people usually only make friends with other negative people, believe it or not. So it's not about being overly positive or fake. It's not about pretending that everything's all right and it's not, no. But it's not about making negativity a habit, you know, and sometimes somebody, you know, in the past, people have said to me, you know, when are things going to get better, you know, and if you're in that mindset, you'd probably be agreeing with them. But it's just about making sure that you're spreading that positivity and sort of saying to them, you know, things are going to get better for you, just trying to encourage them. So it's really being open and accepting of others, and they'll be more likely to do the same for you. So it's just about being genuine, finding things you like about others and tell them. They'll appreciate the thought and they're there to act in the same way towards you, because how I see it is positivity is infectious. Okay, so even if somebody's not in a positive mindset at the moment and maybe feeling a bit down, by you being that positive light, you'll find that they'll always say, oh, you know, Jenny, when you're around, you know, it just makes me snap out of being negative. I want to be positive because you're spreading it. Now, imagine if I'm feeding into their negativity as well, even if they're feeling down, I can console them, but it's not good for me to bring more negative being negative towards them because they're already down already. It's about uplifting people. So really just looking at paying attention to do things that you think people are doing well, just praise them for it. It's just the effort of doing it. Everyone appreciates kindness at the end of the day. So by giving sincere compliments, it changes your relationship from personal acquaintances to something more human. You're now starting to build that relationship with somebody. So number 8, this is a key one for a lot of people, and this was me in the past. Listen rather than waiting for your turn to talk, okay? Sometimes in some situations, some of us are so preoccupied thinking about what we're going to say next as soon as someone else is talking, all right? So when you actually do that, you miss out on the details of what someone says. I used to be an offender of that. So you need to be fully focused when someone is talking because it will shine through and you'll stand out as someone who really listens. Now, ironically, it's easier to come up with things to say when you fully focus on something. It really is. Just like when you're intrigued by paying close attention to a film that you like, a movie that you like, yeah? You'll get more intrigued by conversations by paying close attention to them. And then when you listen closely, it's also easy to come up with questions and also share related experiences, okay? So that's a really good tool to have. Now, number 9, you start to gradually become more personal with getting to know people. So for 2 people to know each other, they need to know things about each other, all right? So the secret to connecting over time is switching from small talk to more personal topics, all right? So you start out talking about the weather, and then, you can mention about, how much you love the sunshine. You might talk about something else now. Instead of the weather, you might talk about things that's been happening for you in terms of your, your work situation, your actual business, but you're starting to build up and slowly to getting to know each other. So you're going to be less informal, less formal, going to be a bit more informal and start to become more personal. And getting to know people is about being curious and learning about others, while also getting to share stories about yourself as well. Because when you start to get to know somebody, they'll probably be like, I didn't know that. Yeah, well, I feel comfortable saying this to you now, and this is what's been happening, and this is, the result of that. So just moving on from small talk to becoming more personal. Now, another key one here is observing others in social situations. Now, this is kind of like having a masterclass to learn how to be sort of more socially savvy. Now, we all know someone who's great at talking with each other and who sparks a social event by just arriving, as they come into the room, oh, Mary's here. Now, what is it about them that makes them thrive in social situations? So when you meet someone who lights up a room with their presence, take a moment to see how they do it. So really observe, yeah, you really want to be observing. Now, here's what I learned about analyzing people with social skills. Number 1, they are authentic, they're genuine. So meaning they're not trying to play a role of someone else. They really are themselves, whether it's online or offline, whether they're on Instagram or off Instagram, they are the same person, all right? Number 2, they show that they like people who are there, both existing friends and also strangers, people that they don't know. Number 3, they engage in what's happening. They ask questions, make comments, listen, and they learn. Even the greatest people that have all the knowledge in the world, they're always open to learn. All right. And I always say a tip that if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to go and find another room. Yeah. You should be stretching yourself and stepping out of your comfort zone on people that may know more than you, that may be more intelligent, that may have earning more money than you. You need to kind of get into those kind of networks. And it's really not to be like saying that they're better than you. No, it's about pushing yourself out there to start to help you to master your people skills. And basically what I'm saying to you is, this is what I've been doing. So I'm able to be open with you and tell you that's something that you can really do. whilst I was observing, I noticed that they show confidence and they dare to walk up to people and maintain eye contact, even people that they don't know. Yeah, so that's really, when you're out, start to observe others in social situations. Okay, so that brings the presentation to a close. Any questions or anything that anybody wants to ask me or add to anything that I've said? The floor is now yours.
Wonderful, guys. We have a few minutes to go. Please ask questions away. Let's start with Jackie. Keep the question brief, raise your hand, and let us just have them rapid. Bam, bam, bam. Jackie, you're up first.
Okay, Jenny. So the question I want to ask is, without being too, let me see, maybe too blunt or, you know, too, so maybe aggressive. Sometimes when you just meet somebody and some things appear obvious and you're saying you don't want to say, then don't you see it? But you want to be a little more tactful. How do you, you know, really kind of, maybe you're not having the most wonderful day, you know, stuff like that, situations, and you really don't want to entertain a discussion, a conversation or nothing, but this person comes and is being nice, you know, but you just, I just need you to advise on what's the best way, most tactful way to deal with it.
Right, okay, so what you're saying is, for example, you've maybe had a long day at work and then somebody comes to speak to you and it's, for you, it's not really, you're not really in the mood to have a conversation. Is that kind of what you're saying? Yeah,
along that line.
Yeah, okay. So it's just being honest with the person and saying, you know, hi Jenny, you know, today's been a really tough day and I just feel like I need some space for myself. So do you mind if I catch up with you another time? Just like that. It doesn't have to be, because what we do, and again, that's what you call setting boundaries for yourself. Because what happens is, if you decide that you just want to please that person, now you're being a people pleaser, they're coming to speak to you, you're not probably in that frame of mind to speak with them. And then what's probably going to happen is your facial expression, your body language, you're going to give off something. Unless you're a really good actress, you're probably going to give off something. And then now they're going to think, is it something I've said? Is it something that I've done? So, you know, it's just really saying to the person, whether you know them or not, and say, you know, hi, Jenny, I'm coming over, Jackie, and you'd be like, Jenny, you know, today's been a really bad day and I'm really tired and I've got a headache and I'm just not feeling myself. So if you don't mind, I'll catch up with you another time and I'll speak to you another time. And usually the person will be like, okay, Jackie, I hope you're feeling better. And that's it. Because now you're just letting them know how you feel. What you don't want to get into the habit of thinking is that if you say that to somebody, they're going to feel a bit bad, because you're not responsible for how people react, but you have to be, you can only master how you act. And if you're being polite and saying to them that I don't feel good today, then it's fine. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right, next question. Keep it coming. You can type a question in the chat, or you can raise your hand and ask. I have a question that I want to ask for someone on the call to win a movie ticket to any of the Palace Amusement Cinemas in Jamaica.
Wow.
I have a question that I want to ask. Jenny went through 10 points tonight in mastering people skills. If there's anybody who can raise their hand and give me the 10 points, just the list of the 10 points, I will give you this movie ticket that you can go to any Palace Amusement Cinema in Jamaica for the next 10 months out of the year. So it goes all the way down to I think January of next year. Yes, Alicia, go.
Make eye contact and smile. Make light conversation. That's 2. 3, seek out social situations and being social assertive. 4, stick to topics that aren't offensive. And we had the 4 for that. 5, show people that you care about them. 6, build rapport. 7, be positive. 8, listen rather than waiting for your turn to talk. 9, gradually become more gradually become more personal. And 10, observe others in social situations.
Bam, 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 bam. Jenny, is she correct?
Well done. Wow. I was
Well
even checking
done.
my list just to make sure. Like, okay. Wow.
Alicia, you have won this movie ticket to any Palace Amusement Company theater in Jamaica that you can go and admit one for an adult. So maybe you have to leave the girls alone when you're going out.
Well done. I'm jealous. Wow.
It is valid until the end of 2022. And we'll see you at church next time. I'll give you. Congratulations.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Well done. Wow.
All right. Before we go over to the AWC Youth in Expression, because we're right up at 8 o'clock, and I know Jenny needs to go to our bed if she's going to sleep tonight. I want to give away some credit to someone who can tell me what. Alicia, put on your hand, please. Let me put on your hand because we cannot win this, right? Stick up your hand if you can tell me what the acronym FORD stands for. Ford. Mikey, go.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
Okay, F is for family, O is for opportunity, R is for recreation, and D is for dream.
Mikey, you almost got it. Sorry. Somebody else want to try? Almost got it, Mikey. Okay, Jackie. So we tag team, son to mother. Go ahead, Jackie.
So the F is for family, O is for occupation, the R is for recreation, and then the D is for dream.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, great. Congratulations, Jackie. You have won yourself a prize. You will be getting your prize momentarily. Before we go, we want to say thanks one more time to Jenny Beckford. Could you put some ones in the chat as we wish her a very good night? We're really grateful for this. We are going to post tonight's video because there's a whole lot that we can go back and look and listen and learn from. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Jenny, for sharing with us these nuggets that will make us better persons.
You're
really
welcome.
Right?
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me as well. Thank you.
I'm posting in the chat a very short feedback survey. Will take you about 20 seconds or so to do. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about tonight's session? I'm also going to put it in the WhatsApp chat. Please fill it out. Give us some feedback. The session that we have had for the last 2.5 months partly came from the survey that you did as members of AYF. We're grateful for that. And so we want to continually improve on our product. Next week, Friday, we will be celebrating. We're having our second anniversary celebration of the Adopt a Youth Foundation. So wow. the first of April, we'll be celebrating, we'll be partying, right? We're glad that the PM opened out the country, so we will be going to the UWI campus, UWI Mona, and we'll also have an online presence, so both in person at UA, BLT, and online. We're going to have our celebration come out at 7 o'clock. It's going to be fun, fun, fun. Bless you. Thank you again, everyone, for coming on. I'm going to hand over now the baton to Amanda and Mavornine. Take it away for AWC Youth in Expression. Over to you, Marva.
There could be moments in your life when you look back and wonder, how did I reach here?
When you wonder, why me? Me, who am I?
What have I done? What have I accomplished? Am I a man of failure? Or am I a man of honor?
You feel lost. You confused. Like a leaf failing in the wind. Nothing to grasp. Feeling like you're at rock bottom?